Texas high school football rolls on in the offseason, even through these strange times. And there have been a lot of big coaching changes. One of them is the new head coach at CyFair. We are joined by that new head Bobcat, Coach Jeff Miller. Coach, how are you?
Doing good, thank you.
First and foremost, congratulations on the new job. Whenever I heard that you were getting this job at CyFair, my initial reaction was that I always thought that it was going to take a really, really special job to get you to leave Rockdale, because I know how much you loved the community. You love the community down there. Obviously, your alma mater there qualifies. What was it about the job at CyFair that made that so appealing?
Well, to start off, you're exactly right about Rockdale. That place has been tremendous to us. Been there for 14 years, and kind of the intention was to, our thought was probably we would retire there. Especially, we weren't going to leave right now, especially with this football team that Rockdale's fixing to have. But of course, I graduated from CyFair in 1986 and played 4 years of ball there, and I truly know, if you haven't been a part of the CyFair culture and the BFND culture, you really don't really understand how special it is. You have to live it a little bit to understand it. And so when, I've always known that Pajowski was going to retire at some time, but it never really was even a thought to go back there and try to replace or try to take over. First of all, it's really a dumb idea to try to go in there and replace Ed Pajowski. I mean, he's a legend and he's done a great job. So whoever the dummy was that was going to try to follow him, but no, the position came open and then kind of started the process. I inquired about it and really it happened actually pretty quickly. But it's just such a great tradition and a great history, and obviously it means so much to me. My dad spent 20-something years there as a principal. Of course, I was raised in the system, and it was the only job. I'm telling you, there's a lot of great jobs in the state of Texas, but it's really the only one that even would have I would even consider leaving Rockdale for.
Well, and I think that you may be selling yourself short of playing football there. You were, of course, the quarterback for that state semifinal team back there in 1985. I guess my question is: Are you going to be known as the coach, or are you still going to be known as that quarterback?
It'd be known as the guy that had 3 turnovers in the semifinal game that cost us the chance to go to get beat by Yates in the state championship. No. I don't know. Obviously it's kind of fun. There's still a lot of my teammates and classmates and so forth that are still in that area. And when, it's still, I guess my name still is tied to some of those, really great years that we had. We had great football teams and some great players. And, my name is tied to that. Hopefully, and that's part of the fear in going in here and taking over as the coach, because I was joking with my wife, I still have a pretty good name in that area. A couple of bad years of coaching and that name won't be so good anymore. But no,
I'm sure you'll be okay. I'm sure of that. One thing about Coach Pajowski down there is you always knew what CyFair was going to be about there. Whenever you saw a Bobcats team, they were going to run the ball. They're going to play great defense. They have an identity. Is there any semblance or any idea of changing things? What is the identity of the Jeff Miller Bobcats going to be?
Well, we don't want to jeopardize the integrity of what they've been doing. That's part of what makes CyFair so special. At the same time, and I've joked about this with Ed a little bit, we are going to try to move some things into the 21st century. But without, honestly, without messing with what has made it so great. I mean, there's some great coaches who are, retaining the majority of that staff, and both coordinators are going to stay on board. So therefore, we're not going to disrupt too much of what's going on. There'll be some subtle changes as we move along. Quite honestly, though, even at Rockdale, we've migrated to different offenses and different looks based on what we have, the personnel and all. So, if the main reason we got out of, we were a mirror image of CyFair through about 2012 at Rockdale. Then we ran out of tight ends and fullbacks. And so, we're not going to be so stubborn to stay in the eye without a tight end and fullback. And then we had some extra receivers. So that's kind of how we migrated to the spread. I foresee us, in the next several years at CyFair being a little more adaptable maybe to our personnel, but really if we still consistently have these, dang good tight ends and running backs and so forth, you'll still see a lot of that. I want to utilize the talent as much as possible, but still, and the thing is, even though we were in 10 personnel, spreading it out and chunking it all over the place at Rockdale, we were still went into ball games with our intentions of winning it defensively and running the football. So really, if you look at it like that, that's still going to be our intentions. But we do want to have the ability to possibly open it up a little if we need to.
One thing I'm interested in, you get hired in February, kind of late February, and then obviously the world turns upside down. What was your message to your guys when you first interacted with them, and what is your relationship with them now that you're kind of not allowed to be together?
Okay. Went over and spent one day, all day at CyFair. Got to meet most of the coaches. Had brief, just group meetings with the coaches. And then I was able to meet 2 of the athletic periods worth of the football players. And, basically that, of course, the biggest thing is we have a tradition that we have to defend. And that's why I'm there. That's why because I understand it. I understand what it is. And this isn't just recent. It goes way back. And so, that is our whole focus and our whole goal. At the same time, though, we have the opportunity to create our own legacy while we're doing that. And so I think we have to keep both of those in mind. And then talked a little bit with the seniors, about how, I'm not a guy that's going to come in there and look in the future. Our deal is the immediate is the most important. Next year, 2020 is the most important year to me and to this staff. And so those seniors need to understand that this is their year. This is their, it's the most important year for them. And so we're going to do everything we can to make that pleasant. Then right after that, so that was just a couple of days I took off work at Rockdale to go over and hang out with them. Our first day was supposed to be the day after spring break. So I haven't had any true interaction with them. Now we did have invited a bunch of we had about 80, I guess, families and players and all on a Zoom meeting. And that was right before I realized how big a deal that Zoom bombing was. And so that didn't go very well when we got, it was awful. It was awful. But we made our way through that. It took me a little while to figure out how to turn the chat button off. And so anyway, we got through that. I'm a little skeptical about having another group meeting right now, but I have talked to a bunch of the seniors individually or, with their parents, and I still have more to go. Speaking with, trying to meet with all the head coaches, doing some stuff like that, but just trying to make the best of it. At the same time, got to hire a few people and then learn a whole new procedures. Obviously things are different in any district, but especially when you go from a smaller district to a big one, trying to learn all the ins and outs of how they do things is pretty, there's just a lot to it. I don't guess it's overwhelming, but there is a whole lot of it. So, but really have nothing but time right now. So,
yeah. How do you think we got you on? We got to wait until you're stuck at home before you'll slum it with the Dave Campbell's folks. It's Jeff Miller of CyFair. Coach, I do have to ask you that some news came down about a week ago that Rockdale has hired your replacement. And they've promoted your old defense coordinator Jacob Campsey to the head job. I'm interested in what you think about Coach Campsey getting the big chair in Rockdale.
Well, Jacob has done a tremendous job here. I guess he's been here 6 years as the defensive coordinator, or been here 6 years, 5 of them as the DC. He's a young guy, very energetic. and just a great football guy, great student of the game, always wanting to learn. And the biggest thing is, they talk about it all the time about, truly loving kids and caring about people and kids. And he truly does. He loves them. And they know it. It doesn't take long. You can be around him 3 or 4 minutes and you can see his passion for young men and women. And he's going to do a tremendous job. He's got some great ideas. And, that's the thing. It's the kind of, we were talking a little bit earlier about CyFair. When somebody's been there a long time, you want to obviously keep the good things going. And I think Jacob's going to try to do that. At the same time, there's a lot of good that can change in Rockdale, and he has a vision for it. He's going to strengthen the culture and hopefully continue the good stuff, but at the same time, take it to the next level. And I'm so dang proud of him and happy for him. And he's a really a neat person, a great dad, a great husband. And just a heck of a worker, and the kids are going to love him. It's really, especially in a time like this when transition is so difficult, because you can't get in there and truly get to be a part of these kids' lives immediately. It is helpful that they're familiar with him and he's familiar with the kids as well. So it'll be a pretty easy transition, and I'm just so happy for him and look for great things in the future.
And finally, Coach, I know that obviously the situation is different. It's a difficult situation for everybody involved, and it's especially difficult for the families of Texas high school football coaches who suddenly have their husbands and dads hanging around the house a lot more. And I know you especially are a workaholic. We've met. And so my question is, how's your family holding up with you hanging around the house more than you usually do?
There's been some stress. I'm not going to lie. Luckily, we're on different sleep schedules right now, so we're only awake at about 6 or 7 hours a day together. But no, I've got a son home from college and a daughter that's a senior, and yeah, there's a war going on in here for supremacy, I guess, right now. And obviously, as anybody will know this, our senior daughter is winning that. So we're just all on eggshells around how she's handling it. No, it's challenging, but I'll tell you at the same time, this is what really stinks for me is I had this great plan. See, I was going to move to Houston and find me a place to live, while I left my wife here to pack up the house and get everything ready to sell. See? So it's a great team. Yeah, it's a great plan. And now, guess who's here having to help with all of that? So it didn't work the way I really had it planned.
Oh, Coach. Well, it's tough, but and so obviously a lot of people struggling right now. Jeff Miller having to pack up his house. It's pretty tough. Coach, really appreciate your time. Congratulations again on the new gig, and best of luck down the road. We'll be talking.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Greg.